Hello, Perry Peacock here with Wilderness Innovation. I wanted to take a little moment here and cover a couple things that I think are important to get out, something about my belief systems and where I'd like to go with things and kind of my place in all this and everyone else's place as well. I was doing some reading this morning. I tend to like to read every morning for an hour or so, and every night for an hour or so, or something like that. I seem like I can't get enough information. It seems like I like stories about survival and endurance and the things people go through, things like that. I also like to be a balanced person. I believe strongly in the family and my parents, my children, and relatives around, and I've recently spent quite a bit of time doing those sorts of things this summer, and I haven't done as many videos as I would have liked to, but the family's pretty important to me. And you know, when it comes down to survival, there's a lot of guys out there teaching survival and different techniques, and a lot of people out there with a good deal of knowledge and experience. And I'd like to kind of tell you where I come from there, and back in the 60s and early 70s, I was in high school. I was interested way back actually in my early teens in survival type things and adventures. My grandfather grew up in the West, and as a young man he got a job surveying for water out on the deserts in the Great Basin on horseback. As a youth, I got to spend some time with him out in the deserts, and he taught me a lot of things that he knew about survival and existing out there. And you know, he was back in a time when you really did have to take care of yourself because there wasn't anybody to back you up, and that really kind of taught me something. You really have to have it in your heart and your mind, these things about survival. There's a lot of stuff out there that's kind of Hollywoody and all that sort of thing, and it's kind of it's fun for all the glitz and gadgetry and all that sort of thing, but you know, and it's good to see that stuff and see all the possibilities, but at the same time, it's good for each of us to have a dose of reality and realize that, you know, we're all responsible, number one, to take care of ourselves. We can't help our families or our friends or anybody else if we can't even take care of ourselves. So number one, it's important for us to learn some techniques and some things ourselves so that we can take care of ourselves and help others. And number two, we've got to try to learn what we can from other people. I learned from my grandfather in high school. We actually had a class on survival that they offered, and I took it, and that was very interesting. And reading different books and things, as I got a little older and had some kids, and my boys started getting up into Cub Scout and Boy Scout age, I got involved with the Boy Scouts and helped out that way. I felt that was a good program for training the boys to be good all-around men, and so I really enjoyed that. And in the process of that, I got into sub-zero survival, being out in the West in the high deserts. Temperatures out camping commonly can be 20, 30 below zero or more, and a lot of times winds and all that sort of thing to deal with. So, you know, I learned to do that, and me and my brother-in-law started teaching survival classes on that, and we taught those for a number of years and taught people how to make their own gear and all those sort of things. You know, over the years we taught thousands of people some of these things, and mostly in a classroom setting and an outdoor setting. I'm kind of new to this, doing things on video or YouTube, that sort of thing, but you know, that's the way it is these days. I took a class in Sub-Zero Survival from Jim Phillips, and I was impressed. His business card says on it his occupation is professional snow camper. and he's very expert in that craft, and learned some techniques from his father in the high mountains of New Mexico originally. And I respect a lot of things that he taught me, and a lot of the scientific work that he did, and his father, and researching and talking about a lot of these things. Somebody else, particularly in the new media, Dave Canterbury, I give him a lot of props for his work that he's done. I started watching his things about a year ago, and I think, I don't know the man, but I think I respect what he says. It seems to ring true and make sense, and he seems to be a common sense type of person and dealing with reality. And I know that he's talked about, with working with his sons, and talking about spending time with his wife and his family, and and that's all important. It's important for us to learn the survival things. It's important for us to make a living. It's important for us to do a lot of things, but it's also important for us to spend time with our families and with our friends and everything. So it's important to have a balanced life. That's one thing I learned from Jim Phillips. He talked about in survival situations, when it comes right down to it, a lot of whether you survive or not depends on what's in your heart, what you believe, how firmly you believe in your abilities, what you can do. Believe in you got a good life, you got a family, you got something to look forward to. All those things are important, and all those things contribute to surviving. And I know I've tried to read over the years just about everything I could read on survival and various instances, and it seems to me that there's very few people that have been in situations where they really came down to they're pretty much to life and death, pretty much right at the brink. And in nearly every instance that I can think of, their saving grace came from thinking of a family member, thinking of their God, thinking of the future, thinking of their family, their parents, whatever. Some deep-seated belief inside of them caught hold and gave them enough spark of life to make it. And in a lot of these cases, when the medical authorities looked at things, they're just like, I don't know how they lived. They shouldn't have lived. And I think it's important to have the right mindset, to live your life right, be comfortable with how you're living. And I think when you get in a situation, at least you don't have that to worry about. You're living the best you can live. You're being the best person you can be. I think that's going to contribute a lot to a person's ability to survive. And with that, that's really all I wanted to say here, just a little editorial, but to kind of tell where I'm at. And I'm interested in pursuing this. I have a full-time regular job. I'm in electronic security sales. I do the survival thing in the afternoons, on weekends, whenever I can do it. Plan excursions. I practice every time I can. If I go camping with the family or whatever, I try things while I'm there, experiment. I'm a common man. I think Dave Canterbury, I salute him for, he started doing some things recently with the recession and things going on, talking about, common man things rather than a lot of the high dollar fancy things that we have. And I'm a common man. I try to get the best I can in everything I get, especially essential things for survival, but by the same token, we all do what we can. I think that's part of survival too, is get the best you can when you can, but when you can't get the best there is, then do the best you can with what you've got. That's what it's all about. You got to have the right frame of mind, and you gotta just believe you can do it. And I do, and I'd like to just share that with all of you as I do some of these videos. I've got quite a number of them on the list to do, and I'll get started with them again here. But anyway, I hope you have a great day, and think about these things, and make sure you live a good life and you feel good about how you're doing, and that'll help your ability to survive quite a bit. And I look forward to seeing you on some other videos. Thank you.